Hello everyone and welcome back to Out of Ink. I'm Olivia and today I am joined by my friends Matt from Matt Presents, Mackle Shadackle from Moviemakal or Spiny Norman, and Mitzy, who is... Mitzy, do you have your own channel now?
No, I just live in the sewers. And I
Mitzy...
come up every once in a while to
Mitzy
say
has
hello.
a channel called Ziffprod. You gotta check it out.
No, that one's not mine. It's a slander.
And Mitzy of the Sewers.
Channel.
I'm sorry.
It's the Penguin.
Oh yeah. Oh, that doesn't exist anymore.
Does it not?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Mitzy's got their own channel. It's Burn in 8R.
Okay. Alright, and
I got a channel. It's called Rich Alvarez.
It's called Markiplier.
Oh god.
Maybe you've heard of me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This might be a little too obscure for everybody. Anyway, so today I got a bunch of my friends together to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which literally came out just this last Friday. So let's go. What did you guys think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think that the first Spider-Verse was like... It was a movie that piqued my interest when the trailers came out just because of how weird it was getting with the characters it was going to include. And then I watched it and loved it. I've like seen it like 4 or 5 times and I just like it more each time. It's become a comfort movie basically. And the sequel was not a disappointment anyway for me. I think like I used to say that my favorite comic book movie was Spider-Verse, and now it's the Spider-Verse series. I just think the first one's a great first one. This is a perfect follow-up.
No, I absolutely agree. Honestly, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, when people say it's a perfect comic book movie or a perfect superhero movie or whatever, I am inclined to agree 100% because both of these movies are phenomenal.
This is what everybody wants out of a comic book movie. That's just what it is.
I do think it took me a little while to come around on the first one. I loved the first one when it came out, but I think at the time I was still like, it's not like my favorite Marvel movie, but I think it is. I think it is my favorite Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I enjoy other Marvel movies. Like I'm a fan of like Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War. I even like Spider-Man Homecoming. I wasn't too big on Far From Home, but still, like I
like the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Absolutely, those are great. The first 2 are genuinely great, and the third one's really funny.
I think Logan was the one I was holding on to as like my favorite before I accept Spider-Verse.
I enjoy Logan, but just something about the tone of Spider-Verse is like everything I want it to be for like a comic book movie. Because it's like still really funny, but like the emotional scenes work really well. The one thing I did come around on the first Spider-Verse, something I swear I mentioned on Duckcast and in like videos I made on it on Moviemakal, is my only issue with it. The first time I saw it was I really didn't care for the license music it used. And on rewatches, it's just like, was I just complaining about this because I felt like it was something I should complain about? Because I really don't have an issue with it. Like, I actually think that the music they play for Miles, like, finally making the leap at the end was, like, perfect. It matches the scene really well. I think the music they picked for Spider-Man's death scene matched the scene really well.
Yeah.
There was at least one moment and, like, one song I didn't like. But then again, I couldn't say when the last time I saw it was. I think I've only seen it once since it came out in theaters. Granted, that was like, what, 3-4 years ago, so...
Yeah.
I think the second one had way better music.
I agree.
That's not even to say that the music in the first one was bad. I just think they fucking upped their game in Spider-Verse.
I love both soundtracks, but it's like I think that they're definitely going for it's definitely slightly different vibes. I think because of how much Gwen's character gets such a bigger role in this movie, they did more punk music in it, which I really appreciated. Not to mention like spider punk and stuff like that. So
big punk fan me.
Like the first Spider-Verse should be like an impossible act to follow. But this one really owns it. For one thing, they took like the visual style and like totally upped it, right? Like the first one, there's like different styles for like the different universes, but it's pretty minimal. And it feels like after the first one succeeded, they're like, all right, do whatever you want. And so they have all these wild, disparate styles in this movie.
Oh yeah, I love like
Spider-Man
the painting kind of style in Gwen's universe.
Yeah, I love like the watercolor background.
It's so tasty. It's so good.
It is beautiful.
The way that everything just kind of like melts. Like things start out really defined, and then it all just kind of like melts into like an emotion. Like that's the only way I can describe it, is like things start off really defined, very like not like realistic, but you get what I mean. But it slowly just all melts into just like abstract, like it's like an abstract like watercolor painting, and it's so tasty. It's so good. The art is delicious. It's delectable to the eyes.
Honestly, Mitzy, that was fucking beautiful. But yeah, no, it's actually... The cool thing about that is a lot of the times, all the art styles you see coming together, we're actually taking directly from the comics because, yeah, especially Gwen's comics for the first 3 runs had these beautiful watercolor illustrations, and at least the covers would be for a while. So yeah, that was like super exciting for me personally to see them using that. And it's like they also did that a lot with like Spider-Punk and the Spider-Man. I always forget his name. I don't want to just call him Indian. No, I know Hobie. Like I know they call him Spider-Man of India in the comics. I gotta look up his name because I always forget for what his name is. I think that like not only is like the watercolors a good reference to like her comics then, but it also really fits what they're going for because a lot of her scenes are like focused on this relationship between her and her father, and like the scene where he first learns about it, you get this like really harsh and sad looking color scheme for it. It just looks like everything's melting.
It's all like abstract color communication.
Yeah. And then the scene at the end, it's like going for something completely different tonally.
No, yeah, it is.
Go ahead, Mitzy. I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish my thought.
No, I don't know if my thought has a finish. I was just saying it's all abstract color communication with the backgrounds and their style and everything like that. Like it's very good. It is very good.
I loved the Da Vinci styled
the paper vulture, yeah, the Da Vinci style vulture was awesome.
The one thing I'll say about like the different styles that like it didn't bother me much, but it was clear all of them were still like 3D models even when they're supposed to be like 2D characters. And they do a good job covering it for the most part. The only one I have an issue with is, like, the Spectacular Spider-Man cameo. Spectacular Spider-Man looked bad. He was, like, the worst-looking Spider-Man in the movie.
Spectacular? Is that the video game?
That's one of the animated shows. He talks to Miles, in the big confrontation scene.
He has, like, one line.
Yeah, he gets to talk a little bit.
Okay.
Video game Spider-Man looked great.
He did.
Yeah, that one to me was the most out of place looking one, but that was like the joke.
It worked so well.
I mean, I like that they worked in like live action universe,
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you see footage from like the Tobey and the Andrew Garfield movies, but he like visits the Venom universe.
And then there's just a cat.
Oh, is that woman from the Venom universe?
Yes, she's from Venom.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, honestly.
Which is why she was just so chill when he came through and he was like, "Yeah, I'm an interdimensional being. What about it?"
Oh, that's
like,
really funny.
Yeah, it's the lady.
Because that's something.
Same shit, different day.
I thought the only joke there was like cartoon interacting with live action. If I had actually seen Venom, I probably would have really loved that.
No, yeah, she's actually, if you've seen the trailer where Venom's in the convenience store, you've seen her because it's that.
Okay, I don't remember.
And then there's Donald Glover from
Yeah.
the MCU.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was incredible.
I got so excited because I was like, they referenced it. They went through with it. Because they had set him up like where they made a reference that he was Aaron in a different timeline. And I was like, I was so excited at the time. And then I kind of forgot. So when he showed up in this movie, I was like shaking Chris's arm like, he's here.
I appreciate.
I laughed and pointed at him. Like, it's him. It's Donald Glover.
I do appreciate how MCU and Spider-Verse have acknowledged each other, because I feel like neither of them have gotten in each other's ways. But they do have fun little, like, I love that they say, like, oh, don't even get me started on what Strange and Spider-Man from Universe whatever just did. And it's like, that was fun. I like how in No Way Home, like, you have, is it Electro saying, like, maybe there's a black Spider-Man out in some world, different universe, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I really
them.
appreciate those nods. Like, because it's
I
like,
love them
again,
referencing each other.
yeah, like, it works, but it doesn't, like, it's not like what the MCU does to other MCU movies, you know?
Yeah.
I think,
It-
Sorry, go
I
on.
also thought it was funny that, like, Spectacular Spider-Man got to be in the movie, but then they just used clips of Ultimate Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, we're not getting his voice actor back.
Yeah.
Well, who's he?
He's
It's
what?
like- Who?
Oh,
Drake Bell was.
oh my god.
Oh,
I forgot that was
Okay.
Drake
So
Bell.
it's just clips of him. There's no voice.
Didn't he fucking go missing or something?
yeah, but he was down.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
okay.
found. He got back in jail.
All right. Well, good.
Yeah, where he belongs, Frank.
Is he in jail?
Yeah.
I didn't know. he
Or
was in jail.
I mean, he pled guilty to, like,
I was about to say I thought he was in jail.
soliciting sex from a minor. So
Yeah.
I feel like people have
I
done that without going to jail.
I don't know. Wherever he was, he escaped.
He probably just.
Okay.
But now he's back.
Yeah. Well. No, yeah, I guess he avoided going to jail, but.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway.
mean, Bill Cosby's out of jail somehow. Anyways, let's change this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you guys are good. No.
Okay, yeah, no, we don't need to dwell on this subject.
I think, like, obviously, like, I think the style is great. I think it's a visually beautiful movie. But I think what they really nail with this is, like, the thing that has always, like, worked best about Spider-Man is just that, like, he's a normal, struggling teenager. And they've nailed that in, like, 3 different universes, right? Miles' story is great. Gwen's story is great. Peter B. Parker's story is great. Like, they're making all of these characters work, like their personal lives work, on top of having, like, this great action movie on top of it.
Yeah.
Whoever is. Sorry, go on, Michael.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think this movie with Miles, like, they especially the family life stuff in the first movie was good, like, really good too. But they, like, really took their time to focus on it. Like, I appreciate the
really
help this
amped it
movie
up.
is 2 parts, because they really wanted to spend time with the family. They didn't want the mother and father just to be, like, the first 10 minutes and then they're out of it. They, like, when Miles is, like, you know, turning on every single Spider-Man in the universe to, like, try to save his dad, you know, they have enough screen time to where it feels, you know, from a character perspective, it's always going to be justified if it's a family member, but to an audience perspective, it's, like, a lot more justified now. Because they really took their time with that. I feel like the first movie gave you enough with the uncle, so that side worked. In the first movie, the dad and the mom are good in the first one. Granted, the mom actually doesn't do much in the first one, but in the second one, she does.
I forgot
they
she
do.
was Hispanic.
Yeah, I just watched it again on Blu-ray last night for the first time watching on Blu-ray. It's a fucking beautiful movie. Oh my god, the first one, it doesn't do as much with, like, different styles, though it does a fair amount. But, like, every single shot of that movie is fucking beautiful in the first one, and the sequel's no exception. Like, it's just as good, if not better.
I should watch the
Definitely.
first one again. I have it on Blu-ray.
Definitely.
Speaking of the characters' personal lives, that, like, fucking ending part, though, where, like, you've got Miles coming back to his room and like his mom is there and you know he's having this serious conversation with his mother and it's not even his mother, and it was so weird. I didn't even realize it until later that she made a comment about his hair, and I was like,
right.
Did his hair get different since he's been gone? Like I thought that was like maybe it grew out since he's been gone. Maybe like time went a little bit different when he was traveling
like,
through the
it's
multiverse. Yeah,
I assumed that maybe there was a joke I forgot about.
No,
like maybe part of his hair got ripped out.
Yeah, it's funny because that's when that scene happened. I'm sitting in the theater. I'm looking, and I go, Miles's jacket is different. It's green and purple. Is this a Prowler reference? Are we getting like? Is he getting closer to Aaron? What's happening here? And then I'm like, wait, were Rio's eyes always green? And then like as this panic is setting in, I'm like, something's wrong. Something's wrong with this universe.
I didn't even notice the color of the jacket or her eye color. Like I didn't even notice that. I was just like, does his hair look different? Like I was thinking about her comment. I was like, maybe it grew out a little bit. I don't know. But like, yeah, it's so like. And then you realize, oh, he's not in his universe.
Yeah,
right.
He's not there.
It's funny, like. Sorry, go on.
Finish your piece first, but then I got something to add.
No, I was just saying. I just remember it's just funny because I remember I'm like watching this and I'm like, something's wrong, and I'm like, it was funny when they're like, he's in the wrong universe, and I'm like, oh shit, I was right. He's in the. Oh no, you know. I'm
thinking you're being gaslit or something by this movie. And you're like, oh, okay.
So you know what my cue was. And at this point, the other universe is already revealed, but what really got me with the Prowler is, we talked about the soundtrack before. One thing that I love about the first movie that we haven't talked about, we did talk about like the licensed music, but the score of the first movie is really good, and they brought the exact same composer back for the sequel. And my favorite track in the first Spider-Verse is called The Prowler, and it's the scene where Miles learns who his uncle is. And it's just this really, really harsh track. And they have this sound in it that I don't even know how to describe. It's like...
Is it like the whale sound? It goes like...
Yeah, like that. And they started bringing that in for the end of that movie. They brought that theme back up. And it's like, that's what I love about, like, that's one of the best things that can come out of, like, loving a film, like listening to film soundtracks, is like if you ever watch like a follow-up, music gets reincorporated in a way, and it can say a lot. And like it's like Unbreakable, it's like how in Split they play Unbreakable music at the end right as that reveal is about to happen. In this movie they start bringing the Prowler theme back in, but it's like if you listen to, because the soundtrack went out the other day and I listened to a lot of it, if you listen to it, and that one, the buildup is much, much slower in the sequel. It's just kind of faintly playing in the background. Mm-hmm. And then it just builds up. And then it's kind of mixed in with, like, it's the Prowler theme, but also mixed in with, like, this, like, you know, heroes, this, like, more heroic sounding theme as all the other Spider-Men get together to go save Miles. Mm-hmm. I thought that was so great. I loved that so much.
Seeing Miles as the Prowler fucked me up though.
It's so sad.
I know it's really sad, but it's also just like Miles seems like such a sweet, kind-hearted human being that it's so it's so distant in my head that he would be like a bad guy, you know? Like he seems like such a core good person.
Well, I think that it might be like, you know, we won't know until the third one comes out. I think this is kind of like being, and maybe Olivia knows something more about this, but like I kind of picture it as something more of like you have in the first movie you have his uncle as like the bad guy, but he does still like have like, he still has a good heart at the end of the day. He still does, like, when he learns who Miles, like, that Miles is this person, he doesn't, like, hesitate for a second to, like, not, you know, to protect he doesn't even think about hurting him, you know? He backs down immediately. And I think in this time reality where the father does pass on and the uncle stays, like, Miles might go more into that lifestyle and the uncle eventually accepts it. But, you know, if hypothetically, he could be a more sympathetic villain in the third movie.
Yeah.
Like the uncle was.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not even saying like unsympathetic. I just think like it's so, like for him to turn to something so sinister. I don't know. It just seems so.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Well, no,
it's really fucked up. To see.
No, but I think it is interesting comment.
No, it is interesting. It's also because here's the thing that about like what, because this to my knowledge has not happened in the comics where we've seen a universe where Miles is the Prowler. But we have seen in the universe, in the regular canon, when Aaron found out Miles was Spider-Man, he tried to recruit him and get him to help him steal things. And, or, yeah, and also, or he also tried to get him to help him do other illegal activities. And so Miles had to make a choice between his family and doing what was right in that scenario. And so this is not, so yeah, but we also see basically kind of from what the comics, with the comics, we learned that the reason Jefferson and Rio, Miles's parents, kept Aaron away from them is because, like we said, Aaron's not a good guy. He's so it's kind of a question of, yeah, if his father wasn't in the picture and his mom is struggling and Aaron's the only one there, it's very reasonable to assume that, yes, Miles would not have been a good person in the future. And it's really one of those things of, it's hard, and there's a lot of layers to this that I would get into, that I would like to get into, but I just am, that's just gonna take too much time. But it just comes down to like how little like those differences can change. But yeah, there is a little bit of rooting in the comics with this, just we haven't seen this yet. So I'm excited about it.
I think it's an interesting commentary on, like, you know, how your circumstances sort of affect your outcome, you know?
Yeah.
Your circumstances, your influences, nature, nurture, that whole kind of thing.
Right, like Miles has his dad, they have money, he's going to a nice school. You take all that away and suddenly he's the Prowler.
Yep.
Right. It's...
Not to get political, but it's the sad, unfortunate reality for a lot of people. But we're not going to go there. You know. But
I mean, why not go there?
I mean, yeah.
I think the movie is going there. I think the movie is trying to say that.
Well, no, you're right.
But it's
I think it is.
Thinking about, you know, what, was it Miguel? Was that his name?
Yes.
The vampire Spider-Man?
He's not a vampire,
Thinking about what he's... I don't know. They call him that, but he's not. As a vampire in the movie.
If you like, I'll explain later.
Okay. I'm thinking about what he said about how, like, there's a universe out there with no Spider-Man. You weren't supposed to become Spider-Man. You know, that spider was from a different universe. It came into your universe. It bit you. You know, your Peter would still be alive if it weren't for you. Thinking about all that kind of stuff he said, it's like, maybe, like, then I started thinking about then who was supposed to be bit in that universe, you know, thinking if Spider 42 had not transcended the multiverse, had not exited its realm, would it have been another Peter? Would it have been somebody else? Or would it have been Miles? Would it have been Miles 42? Like,
it's like, if I can interject here, this is that scene to me says, it's like, yes, it is important to the plot of the movie, but I think it also is a commentary on the general public and their relationship with Miles. Because right now in the comic community, there are a lot of people who, when you go, oh, this is Spider-Man, and you're talking about Miles, people are like, oh, it's the Black Spider-Man, or oh, he's not Spider-Man. That's, you know, like, the kids show calls him Spin, like Spidey and Friends calls him Spin, but but it also acknowledges that they are both Spider-Man. And a lot of people in the fan base don't want to acknowledge Miles as a full Spider-Man, even though he is just as much a Spider-Man as any Spider-Man to Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've said Spider-Man many times.
I did.
Yes.
Chris actually was talking to me about that.
I literally was about to say that is a thing Chris said, and I was hoping it would get brought up.
No, yeah,
yeah,
we both...
I was gonna bring it up, but yeah, I'm glad Olivia did.
No, because that's the thing we both talked about. Like, as soon as, like, with the whole argument with Miguel, we were like, yeah, this is just what we have heard before. Because there are people who don't want to acknowledge that Miles is Spider-Man, usually for racial reasons. Sometimes it's for just, like, the nostalgia.
I don't want to.
No,
I don't want to recognize them as legit.
Yeah, exactly.
I have heard a lot of discourse on like canon events as like something Miguel has completely made up, and it's supposed to be like a commentary on people like demanding that every Spider-Man have this and this and that in his story.
And you are probably right, Matt. Honestly, no, yeah, because that is the thing, is people make these arguments that, oh, this didn't happen to the Spider-Man, so they're not as much of a Spider-Man as this one, you know? It's a weird gatekeeping technique, you know?
Like, what is the real story, I guess?
It's every fucking fandom. With Miles, I find it very weird just because, like, I don't know, like, I don't read comics. This is only speaking from the movies. I think Miles is like a lot more interesting than any of the others. But...
honestly, if I'm gonna be just completely honest here, for me, Miles is my favorite Spider-Man. Like, I loved his comics when I first started reading them, and honestly, just with Peter in the comics, Peter just pisses me off. I don't like Peter, but I mean, I like Peter. I like Peter from the standpoint of, like, from what he does and, like, from other books, because he's got a lot of good stuff. But I find myself getting really frustrated with him a lot, especially in the modern stuff. Not the games, but...
I prefer the Spider-Verse version of Peter, where he's like this older mentor who's not perfect, you know? He's like got a lot of flaws, but he's still like at the end of the day does the right thing, you know? But honestly, I think I like that version of him more than the other like 3 Spider-Man universes. I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I like Tom Holland Spider-Man just fine.
Yeah,
but what Tobey Maguire does for me as Spider-Man and Peter Parker is that he's just lost and confused and scared and trying to figure shit out, and like that's sort of like what Miles feels like in his story. He's like, he's lost, he's scared, he's confused, and he's trying to figure shit out. But you know, he's got Peter, who has also been lost and scared and confused and trying to figure shit out, like helping him along.
No, yeah, I honestly feel that Peter B. Parker, that Spider-Man that we got in the first Spider-Verse, is where Peter should be right now. That's what Peter should be doing in the comics, but he's not. And that's just my opinion. But it's just one of those things of, there's a lot of weirdness there. And I think that, all of the Spider-Mans are valid. Like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, I enjoy his take on Spider-Man. I enjoy Tom Holland. I enjoy Tobey Maguire. I don't have the same nostalgic ties everyone does, but I enjoy him, you know?
Yeah.
The whole... Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I mean, I feel like Peter Parker is like up Spider-Man that has been done over and over and over and over. So yeah, there's gonna be good Peter Parkers. There are also going to be bad Peter Parkers in there.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how you portray him. But
depends on how you betray him. Norman Osborn.
Norman. Godspeed, Spider-Man.
The whole gatekeeping thing is very weird, and I understand with Spider-Man, it's like with Miles Morales specifically, it's a little different because yes, race is going to come into it. But like even like just to bring out the spiny side of myself for a second, with the fucking Sonic fan base, like with
just put on my spiny glasses.
Well, Prime came out, and I have never heard more discourse on how this is not the way to portray the character. And it's like when people he's a little different from other versions of the character, but when people list like what like makes it completely not work, it's like that is like so not that like that is such a minor difference compared to what he is in Boom. That is such a minor difference compared to what he is in the movie. Like it's like, and I don't want to like shit talk it too much because I think, you know, I don't want to discourage discourse. People should be allowed to talk about these things, but it's just like
I want to discourage discourse. I think everybody should just shut up.
I don't feel that way, but I also can't engage in it because it's really annoying. But if I talk about stuff that interests me, so I won't tell someone else not to. But yeah, I gotta stay away from that shit because it's just like this is like the most meaningless conversation ever, and I feel like that's probably a lot of like for people coming from like with Miles from a non-racist perspective. I just have to imagine that's what it is them getting fixated on something that doesn't actually matter.
No, definitely. I feel like this is just like, I feel like with a lot of fan bases, there's just this weirdness where I think I like to blame the internet, but I know it's not entirely its fault, you know? But there's just this whole thing of there's a weird mix of, because we have access to all this stuff, there's this creates this kind of stock crock pot of nostalgia, and like it's just so, you know, everything just is so weird, you know? I think the biggest problem with, like, I would say this is more a problem with individual fans and sucking people into their discourse than it is with, like, fan bases in general. Because it's like, having a fan base is good. Having a community is good. Having a fandom is good. Having people talk about stuff they like together and create stuff based on the thing that they're all passionate about and, you know, further discussing that's all an inherently good thing. I believe 100% in my heart that fandom is literally just about talking about something you like with people who also like it, and you and those people sometimes making or writing whatever things you want based off of that, and, you know, letting your own creativity flow. So I believe that in itself, fan bases and fandoms and all that stuff, an inherently 100% good thing. It comes down to the individuals who feel entitled for something to be exactly perfect, exactly the way that they want it, that ruins it for everybody. It's like, I want things to be exactly the way I want it to be, and if it's not, it's bad and it's dumb and everybody sucks and I'm so much smarter than everyone else.
Like, and it's okay to be vocal about exactly what you want, but it's like, it's when you like, it's when it's like, okay, Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man because of that, you know?
Yeah,
like it's saying like something extreme like that.
Yeah, it's that entitlement that ruins it.
No, definitely.
And I mean, like, there are other Spider-Man. Like, it's not like Miles was the first person besides Peter to be Spider-Man.
Also, not
is
the
Peter
first
Porker accepted by everyone? Like,
as an acceptable Spider-Man. If like, here's the thing. Everyone, to my knowledge, no one has a problem with Peter Porker. They just go, "Oh, that's weird." But if they were pushing him as the main Spider-Man, you bet your ass people would have a problem, probably.
For the next 50 years, it's only Peter Porker. Everyone else is discontinued.
There is like a humorous side to Peter Porker that it's like, okay, we get what this Spider-Man is supposed to be.
Yeah,
He's
no,
a silly little Looney Tune.
Are you kidding me? Thor's pet counterpart, Thorg, is a huge part of Thor canon. So yeah, no, there's a place for these characters. You know?
Howard the Duck.
Even Howard. Even Howard.
The second Matt said that there was an MCU character in the movie, I was like, is it Howard?
Honestly, that wouldn't have surprised me too badly. Speaking of characters,
I wish they would do more with Howard. I'm sorry that ruined his reputation.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Howard is actually super interesting, but it's like that's another can of worms.
Although, yeah, like the Howard that exists in Marvel is not like the real Howard. He's like a duplicate, and then the real Howard moved to a different universe.
Yep. I
don't know anything about Howard the Duck.
That's really, it's funny. No, honest to God, people always complain about, like, I love when people complain about multiverse stuff. They're like, oh, everything's multiverse now. Everything's got to have a multiverse. I'm like, nah, comics have been at this for, like, way longer than you guys think.
This is like, the multiverse is like a core of comics.
And yeah, a core of science fiction, a core of comics. This is old hat, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like even comics that aren't like superhero based do it. Like,
oh yeah. You could technically argue by this logic that Archie has a multiverse because there were 2 comics. It was called What If Archie Married Betty and What If Archie Married Veronica, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Fucking Captain Underpants did it. Like, it's just
explained. Captain Underpants did do it.
Yup. Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, like the evil universe has been like a staple of fiction for like a while.
Oh my god.
Community did it. Community did it and fixated on it.
Okay, just
I fixate on the evil universe version of me all the time. I cannot stress enough how much every time I have an impulsive thought, like the other day, not even the other day, earlier today, I picked up a Minecraft lamp that I saw at the antique store, and I thought to myself, what if I just took this and smashed this entire display with it? And every time I have an impulsive thought, I think about, wow, me in another universe just actually did that, actually acted on that impulsive thought. I wonder what consequences they're going through right now. I think about that all the time.
That is
the evil version of myself just thinks starvation is a little funny. That's about it.
The evil version of myself acts on every single impulsive thought they've ever had.
I am the evil version of myself.
The real.
He has the beard. He has the beard to prove it.
You only have facial hair if you're evil.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So let's talk about my favorite character, Spider-Punk.
Yeah,
yes!
I was. Yeah.
The animation is beautiful. He's on several different layers of animation, and he took 3 years to animate, and he's just like, he's so fucking beautiful, man.
He is incredible. I love how
that he's both attractive. And that his animation is, again, I'm gonna say it again, it's tasty, it's delicious, it's a delicious eye meal, it's so good.
I love when he takes his mask off and Miles goes just like, how are you still this cool, you know?
Yeah.
He's also the most based Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Honest to God, because he's the only person who has Miles back in that scene.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, a scene that also has Peter B. Parker, Gwen, and Penny in it. Like, he's the only one who has his back.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I love.
I was kind of worried at first he wouldn't have his back. Like, I was worried he was just gonna be like, nah, fuck you. Fuck y'all. I'm gonna go do my own thing and just completely abandon him. But no, he comes back.
Honestly,
he helps.
No, yeah. Honestly, when I was watching, it's like Chris pointed out to me, which is like, that all of the scenes that they have together, the way they're shot, it's very like close. It shows like you gonna like, you know, the way they look. Miles like literally most of the time has to look up at him. It's not just because he's tall. I think it's like that cinematic, like there's a bond here. Especially because actually this is something that we don't learn about, but in the main canon universe, Hobie Brown is the identity of the Prowler, since Miles was from a different universe initially. So Hobie Brown is Spider-Punk. That is who Spider-Punk is in a different universe. So that, I think, was interesting because that would mean that even in another universe, technically, Miles has this bond with the Prowler. That's just like a weird comic thing. But I thought that was cool. I love the palms scene. Like when he Miles turns around and Hobie just holds out his hands. But no, Spider-Punk is fantastic. I'm really curious about the third movie because Spider-Punk gets really intense in his comics. And I'm like, ooh, I wonder how far they're gonna go with this. And Chris and I are like,
how intense are they gonna make him?
Yeah, but he's great. And I see why everyone loves him. And I'm glad everyone loves him. But yeah, it's so funny because every time I talk to anybody, I'm like, oh, what'd you like about the movie? And they're like, Spider-Punk. And I'm like, okay, that's great.
I hate the AM. I hate the PM. That was my favorite line of the entire fucking movie.
Yeah. It's a mood. I
I just liked him saying, "By the way, I quit," as he like backed out of there, like after helping, like after giving Miles advice. It was just like, "All right,
yep,
I'm out."
I really hope in the next movie that we get a scene with him and Spider-Man Noir. I'm really curious about their interactions, if they get any. Just because I'm like wondering if he's gonna be like, if they're both gonna be like, yeah, just destroy the system, or if they're gonna be, they're gonna be like picking at each other. I don't know, and I want to find out.
Did we want to say anything else about Spider-Punk?
Did anyone else?
I could harp on how attractive he is for a little longer. He's very hot.
I appreciated all of the new Spider-Mans that they added. Like two big ones being him and then the Indian one. Those were both a lot of fun. But I am really happy. I'm completely okay with Penny Porker and Noir not being in a lot of this one. I am happy that the end.
Hello.
I didn't say that.
Was there supposed to be a comma in there? Penny, comma, Porker?
I think so.
Okay, I was confused for a second.
Yeah, no, you know, like, I liked those characters in the first movie. I don't miss them in the sequel. Like, they make up for it. They have plenty of interesting Spider-Men.
Definitely. And like the ones they brought back, it really felt like it had a lot of meaning for the ones that like
and I mean,
Parker and stuff, and Gwen.
Those were like the two that really got the development. Like one of the problems I felt like the like Penny, Peter Porker, and Spider Noir kind of were underdeveloped. Like they didn't get enough screen time. I wish they got more screen time.
I hope they get more screen time in the third one.
I do too.
That's what I was about to say, is that I like that the film ended with a confirmation that they're in it, because I was more than fine with them not being in this one. Penny got like a quick appearance, and I thought that it fit, but I like that the film is saying, like, don't worry, we didn't forget them, you know, because I do think that they should be there. I'm okay with them not being involved in the second one, but if it's going to be a trilogy, I don't think the first one should be the only time they show up.
Agreed.
Now, the thing I wanted to talk about was that this ends on a to be continued, and that bothers me just a little. I think if I had to pick which one of the two Spider-Verse movies I liked better, I'm gonna have to go with the first one, because I feel like the first one is a complete movie that stands on its own. This one, I like I'm sure the third one will be good, and then I'll be like, okay, this is a great trilogy, but
right now on a cliffhanger, it's a little hard to say that.
Yeah, and I've been burned on that stuff before, man. Like I think Matrix Reloaded is like an actually pretty cool, pretty good movie, but like so much of it hinges on the follow-through, and Revelations just fumbled so hard.
I think you're crazy if you don't think that they're gonna follow through.
Oh no, I think they'll do it. I think they can follow.
No, yeah.
I just it bothers me. It worries me a little.
I'm honestly pretty glad that it ends on a to be continued, because when we were watching it, there was so much that hadn't been resolved.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm sitting there, 3-hour movie, because nothing's been resolved right now. Like, nothing has been resolved yet. And then it's like, oh, to be continued. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
like, that calmed me down. I was like, oh, to be continued. Okay.
Round about the point the movie ended, I'm like, geez, how much longer is in this? I feel like we've been here a little while. This is maybe starting to drag, and then it's like, oh, it's over. Oh.
Resolution.
It's for me, time just flew by. Like, I was just invested. I was along for the ride. I probably could have sat through at least another hour, but I was
about when the movie ended.
No, I was glad
the movie ended.
No,
I would be down for another hour.
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm like, it was like, wait a minute, how long have I been sitting here? And then it's like, oh, now it's over. Okay.
It was about when the movie ended that I realized so much time had passed. Like, I was like, it feels like we've been here a while. Hold on.
Yeah, no.
The reason I like that it's a to be continued ending is I just feel like the movie, like, it justified all of its time. I don't think it's wasting time at all, and I'm glad they're going for a bigger story.
Agreed.
I'm also surprised to hear that the next one's releasing next year. Like, it's unless it gets delayed, which is very possible. It's less than a year away from now.
My guess,
because it's March 2024.
My guess is this was probably like all one movie. They're just releasing it in parts. Like, it's not like they're making the whole thing from scratch in a year. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm sure the second film is like pretty much finished by now.
But yeah. Before sorry, go on.
No, it's just I appreciate the bigger story because I feel like that's the best way to expand upon the first one, is to just go, I don't know, like go much longer. I like that. If there really is just only 3 movies, which I think is probably going to be the case, then that's pretty, like, you know, that's that's I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. That's kind of that's a good story. You know, you have one cool movie and then one really big story to go out on, instead of like a trilogy where the third one has to once again have, like, you know, a beginning, middle, and ending. I kind of like that the third one can just kind of build off of the second one.
I like the spot. I like that they. Like,
I'm so glad you brought it up, because
he comes in at the beginning, and you kind of think like, oh, Miles has to deal, like, you know, because he's Spider-Man, and he's you know, he's got to deal with all the like, he's got to deal with the pressure of being a student and being Spider-Man. But then, then the Spot becomes like a legitimate huge threat that he has to face.
Yeah, no, I love the misdirect there.
Dazzle's got big opinions. I don't know if you've heard her meow.
It was yeah, I really enjoyed him as the character. Like, I love how creepy the animation is on him as it goes on.
Oh yeah, no.
This is already an unsettling looking guy.
He really, yeah.
But they, like, really built on the horror side of him as it went on.
Yeah. I love how many times he says holes.
No, honestly,
Hashtag hole nation.
Honestly, this was such, like, a huge moment for the Spot, because, yeah, I think a lot of times, like, supervillains, especially characters like the Spot, yeah, they start off as, like, really goofy. It's a very natural escalation, because, yeah, a lot of times these characters start off as goofy, and then, like, somewhere along the line, people go, wait a minute, we could actually do something that's kind of fucked up here. And then they start taking these villains really seriously. And I love that they did that in the course of a movie with the Spot, honestly.
Yeah, no, I love characters like the Spot, and I love just worlds and storytelling like the Spot, where it's like kind of goofy and awkward and weird and silly. And then all of a sudden it's like, now it's gonna make you fucked up now. We're gonna make you fucked up now. Hey, this guy lost his whole life and his family and everything and was seriously deformed.
Whole life.
Think about that for a minute. Oh yeah, by the way, he now has like the power of a god. Like, fuck you. Like, that's like so good. That is everything I stand for in fiction. Is take something that a concept that is like just inherently absurd and make it the most horrifying thing you've ever seen in your life.
The movie really does end on, like, go ahead, Matt, sorry.
They've done this with, like, both of, like, the because they did it with the Spot and they did it with Polka Dot Man. It's just like the Circle guys.
Yep.
The Circle guys.
The Suicide Squad did it with Polka Dot Man.
Yep. Oh yeah, never fuck with the people with the holes on them. Oh my.
Never fuck with Whole Nation.
Where's our glorious Kite Man arc?
Kite
Where's
Man.
Kite Man gonna become a legitimate character?
I'm personally rooting for Condiment King, but
Condiment.
oh yeah,
Give them big wheel.
Batman villains
yeah,
hold my whole heart.
oh man.
The wall.
I really liked that the ending though, because it had like 3 pretty intense things going on at once. You have all the Spider-Man characters from like the first movie and the second movie gathering together at the end. You have the Spot's really trippy animation sequence, and then you have, you know, Miles and Miles. So it's like a really, even though it is a cliffhanger ending, I think those are like 3 really exciting notes to end it on.
No, absolutely. Not to mention, like, as we've kind of touched on this, but this movie is like amazing at pacing all of, like, balancing all of its shit, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just, yeah, it's really incredible how, because there's just so much here. Anyway, I think it's about time, I think, to wrap it up. Does anyone have any thoughts they want to get out there into the ether before we wrap things up?
Spider-Man for Spider-Verse 3.
Absolutely.
Oh, there was like a visible Spider-Man who had the color scheme of the bootleg Turkish Spider-Man from
Yes.
3 Dev Adam that Michael and I
Yes.
watched for Hollow Victories. He didn't say anything, he didn't do anything, but it was just like, oh hey, he's pink and green, just like
Turkish Spider-Man.
Turkish Spider-Man.
That's beautiful. I somehow missed that. Or maybe I did and I didn't realize that's what it was. I was busy looking in the background for the Japanese Spider-Man and
Spider-Man.
yeah, Spider-Man and my boy Kane who was overshadowed by Ben Reilly. So I don't think, but anyway, any other final thoughts here?
That's it. I just want Spider-Man in the 3rd.
Hell yeah.
Olivia, was that cat was that cat just a joke, or is there actually a
spider
comic with that cat?
There is a Spider-Cat universe.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
is there also a Spider-Horse? Is Spider-Horse real?
I absolutely believe that all of these characters are from comic books.
No, that is the crushing thing, is all of them are, I believe, from a universe. Very few of them are like just made up for these movies. There's only like, there's a couple that are like, but it's like, there might be a few that are made up. I do not know. Maybe someday I'll comb the backgrounds and try to find the fake ones. I doubt it.
Olivia, please, I need to know. Spider-Horse real?
I believe
Spider-Horse real?
Spider-Horse is real. I think he's in the one of the Spider-Verse event comics. I'm just gonna Google it real quick and check, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's another, like, there were Spider-Verse comics, so like,
yeah,
a lot of these characters could just be from the Spider-Verse comics.
So yeah, yes, Widow the Spider-Horse. He is real. He's
real.
He is. Where is his universe? He is from universe Earth. He is from Earth 13.
So that means Cowboy Spider-Man real.
Yes, they are from Earth.
Great day for me.
Yeah, they are from Earth 31-9-13. They were in the 2015 apparently Amazing Spider-Man. So
when are they going to show Earth 1218? That's our universe.
yeah, I was gonna say I think didn't they? I don't know, but it's like, but yeah, no, just so you guys know, most of these spider people are actually from something. How much?
Nice.
I don't know, and I will not pretend to know. Anyway, on that note, thanks again for listening, guys. Please go check out my friends. Go check out we got Matt Presents, we got Moviemakal, and it's a Mitzy. It's like we also Michael also has another channel called Spiny Norman. Please go check them out. It's anything you guys want to say before we wrap it up?
I'm in everybody's stuff, so if you want more of me, just go to any channel.
Yeah.
Any channel of theirs, and I'll be in something, because I'm a little leech. I like to suck on the content.
You'll be in my Jimmy Timmy Power Hour video, which better be out by Friday. Holy fuck. I'm fucking sick of this. I'm ready for this to be done.
Godspeed, Matt Presents.
Like I've enjoyed doing the Jimmy Neutron series, but holy fuck, am I ready to?
That's fair.
If you've seen all of Better Call Saul, then I have a video that will interest you coming out very soon. But that's I don't know how many people clicking on this video will be interested in Better Call Saul.
I was gonna watch Breaking Bad last night, and you know what? Netflix's stupid ass new policy means I can't watch it in this house.
Wait, I do have something I want to acknowledge before we end.
Fuck Netflix.
Lego Spider-Man. I just wanted to acknowledge that because we didn't talk about it.
Oh yeah.
It was
that was animated by like a 14-year-old, I think. Yep. I saw that on Twitter. Like Chris Miller retweeted him. It's like, oh yeah, this was animated by like a 14-year-old.
Damn.
Who also like he
YouTuber.
reanimated the Spider-Verse trailer in Lego.
Damn.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, yeah, just do the Lego segment for us.
That's so good.
I loved the fucking J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson in every universe.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
He is the universal constant.
It's just his voice. His voice is so linked to the character. You can't not.
He's the only one who's allowed to voice him until he dies.
No, they'll just be recreating his voice using AI afterward.
And even then, I would say maybe just retire the character after he dies.
Seriously. No, that's like actually legit. They should listen.
Just have J.K. Simmons record like a million lines that they don't use so they can just repurpose them for whatever purposes.
Beautiful. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. It's like, please leave a comment below what you guys thought of the new Spider-Verse movie, and I'll see you guys next time here on Out of Ink. Bye!
Peace.